Hello, my dear people. Today we will talk again about Cenk and Piers. So, Piers, why don't you ask Cenk about all this? Okay, I will repeat once more what one Croatian philosopher said. I am not interested in the crimes of others. I'm interested in my own. So I can sing. I will say again. I'm not interested in the crimes of others. I'm interested in my own. Okay, personally, I wouldn't say anything about Turkey, but apparently some Turks, like Cenk, Cenk Uyghur, say nothing about Erdogan. There are many Jews and Israelis worldwide who publicly criticize Israelis' policies, even during wartime. Can you imagine what would have happened in Croatia or Serbia during the war if a Croat had publicly criticized Croatia or vice versa? I can give you an example from Slovenia. The previous Prime Minister, Golob, or Pigeon, because Golob is Pigeon, used every possible state tool from the police, media, intelligence agencies against a single individual, Alexander Repic, who had criticized him. Such things happen in Iran, North Korea, and Turkey. Netanyahu doesn't persecute Israeli citizens, for example, even though they may say the most terrible things about Israel, like Saluki, like Andrei X, like Professor Amir Hartsoni. I think his surname is Hartsoni. Okay, in other countries like North Korea, Turkey, and Iran regime persecutes people, if they are criticizing government. If you didn't know, for example. Okay.
Who authorized you to speak on behalf of the Arab children of Gaza? Who authorized you?
You just did. You
never been there. You don't care.
So am I
And
Palestinian
now
or am I
you
not?
think you hold the higher moral ground. You don't.
I do.
You're not the savior. You always need a victim in order to pose as the savior. You're not the savior. First, learn how to control yourself. Learn how to control your tongue buds before you try to control the world. It's a big situation in Gaza. All of us are heartbroken for the death of the children of Gaza. All of us. That includes Israel. Israel considers what's happening in Gaza a tragedy. It's a tragedy made up by the terrorists that you sympathize with, that you want to validate and legitimize. Then we will have to deal with the chaos that you create, your emotional being, going all over the place. Who authorized you to speak on the behalf of the Gaza? Nobody did.
You did.
You self-proclaimed, just like Mahmoud Abbas, just like Yasser Arafat, just like all the Palestinians who have been feeding on the pain of the Palestinian children. You are a parasite, a bottom feeder. This is what you are. So,
Yeah, really. Who authorized you to speak about Gaza? Really? Who authorized you to speak about Gaza? Cenk, why do you think the young Turks and other Turks are important or relevant?
He forgot. But you know how we got to this point? Piers is populist, whatever, all these Hassans and everything. He forgot. But you know how we got to this point? Piers is populist, whatever, all these Hassans and everything.
Look at the expression on his face when he disagrees with someone. His blood pressure is rising immediately. But guys, you really need to ask him about Erdogan and Turkish politics. He identifies as a Turk. So why does he talk about the US and other countries while not talking about Turkey? It's because that's a way to divert attention or diversion or distraction.
Our website is the place to be for the latest updates.
You have to understand the Turks are imbued with a certain sense of pride stemming from the fact that they were once an empire that collapsed, and completely so. My dad visited Turkey in 70s or 80s and described it as a backwater. Back then, Yugoslavia was far ahead of Turkey. When comparing the military strength of Yugoslavia and Turkey, Turkey possessed somewhat more weaponry, as it was armed by NATO and the USA. Yugoslavia belonged to neither the Warsaw Pact nor NATO, yet it maintained a military that was, for instance, just as powerful as Turkey's. So, when you speak of their power or significant role, they do so because they want to be perceived as important. Pure and simple. Yet the reality is that people don't trust them. The West exploits them as a useful idiot. And Russia exploits them in the same way, as a useful idiot to defy the West. Ultimately, however, no one respects such a player. So, that's it for today. Have a nice day. Goodbye.